So starting with React Native, this is the default code the React Native Expo comes with. So within the app.js file, you can see the view and the test components. So I'll get rid of the text in here and make the changes. Let's go. So when I'm saving the change, you can see it reflects over there. So I'll get rid of that and also the style sheet over here and start with the save area view component. I need to import the save area view from the React Native, right? So when saving the changes, you can see it's not able to recognize the style. So I get rid of that and saving the changes. There you go. So when you take a clear look at the UI, right, I will start from the app bar. So I'll create a component over here, component folder. So within the components folder, I'll create a file known as the app.bar.js. So I'll create my app bar component over here. Export default function app bar. So within that, let's return a view. So the view is more or less like a div if you have experience with HTML, right? So the app bar consists of the greetings of the user and also the ratings and the notification as well. So I'll divide it by commenting. So we have the greetings and also we have the rating being on the right hand side. So this is how I'll break down my components. So under the greetings, I'll have a view, and this view is going to contain two test components, right? And the first one is going to take a test of good morning, right? So when you see the UI, that's what appears. And the next test is the username, right? So I'll specify my username over here, and it's going to be code with Dakwa, right? So first of all, we need to import the view and the test components from React Native. So let's do that. So once we have that imported, can come into our app.js file and just import our app bar component we just created. So I'll just return my app bar component over, which is a self-closing component. You can see the auto import over there, right? So when you're saving the change, you can see it reflects at the top there. So let's give some stylings to the save area view. So it's going to take in the background color, right? And that background color is going to be that grayish color, right? And it's going to take the entire screen. So we give it a flex of 1 and also give it a margin top. So let's specify the margin top, right, and saving the changes. There we go. So let's continue, right? So under the rating, I'll also be having a view, and this view is going to also contain another view, right? So within this view, so let's first of all style the inner view, right? So styling the inner view, we use the style sheet. So you do styles.rating, right? And within that view, we specify another view over here, and this view is going to render the icon, the rating star icon, right? So I use the ionicons, right? So you specify the ionicon component and it's going to have a name of star, and let's specify the color of this star icon. It's going to be that yellow color, right? So that's the hex color. And also let's give it some size to the icons, and I'm going to give it a size of 20 and saving the changes, right? We need to import the ionicons from the React Native elements, right? So you need to have that installed as a dependency. So under the icons, you are going to have a test component that shows the rating, the number of ratings. So it's going to be 4.89 over here. So in here it's supposed to be styles.rating, not style sheet, right? So I just made a mistake. And also we need to import the style sheet from React Native before we can use the style sheet's way of styling, right? So I'll just import the style sheet from React Native, and the way we declare the style sheet, we declare a variable known as the style, and we assign the style sheet.create, right? So once we have that, we target the rating style and apply your stylings to it, right? So with the rating, you can specify the flex direction to be row over here and saving the changes, right? You can see it reflect over there, but it's not having impact on it. We want it to be in a horizontal form, right? So we style the outer view, right? So I'll give it styles.appbar, so I can target that app bar and give some styling to it, right? So I'll target that app bar over here and applying the following styles to it, right? So first of all, let's set the flex direction to row so we can have it being on the horizontal form. So it needs to be in one curly braces, right? So in here we align items at the center and also justify content to be space between so we can have it on each side, right? There you go. So let's specify margin over here to be 15. So in here, let's set the background color to white, and also let's align items to be at the center. Justify content to be at the center as well. And also let's set a border radius. Let's give it a border radius of 10. There we go. Let's set the flex direction to row so you can have the effect of aligning the items and also just find the content. So once you have that, let's style the view over here. Let's give it a flex direction of row and also align items and justify content to be center, right? Let's save in the changes. There you go. So when you take a look at it, so let's start the username as well. Let's give it a font size of 18 and also font weight to be bold. There you go. Now so let's style the greetings as well. Let's give it a color of gray. Saving the changes over here. So below the view, you're going to have an icon that's going to be the notification icon. So you use icons, and the name of this icon is going to be notification outline, or the outline version of the icon, right? And it's going to have a size as well, and the size is going to be 22. So let's specify the stylings over here. So with the inline styling, let's give it a background color, and the background color is going to be white, right? It also has a badge on it. So below the view is going to be a badge component, which is a self-closing component, and the status of the bar is going to be error. That show the red background. So initially, let's set the value to 2 and also let's set the container style. So let's start the badge. So with the container style, let's position it absolute so we can set the right and left of the value. So position absolute, and also let's set the top to -4 and also the right to -4, and saving the changes over here. Don't forget to import the badge from React Native Elements, right? So if you don't have that installed, you need to install that. So once you have that imported, just saving the changes. There you go, as you can see it over there. So here, let's set a padding over here. So let's give it a padding of 6. Saving the changes. It's looking pretty good. So let's start the view over here. So we'll be using the inline styling. Let's set the flex direction to be row, and also align the items to be center. Justify content to be center as well, and give it a padding horizontal. That's going to be from the left and right. So let's give it a padding horizontal of 10. Oh, it's not having the effect on it. So in here, let's wrap the icon and also the badge within a view. So I'll just grab all this and move it within that view and saving the changes. There you go. So we need to apply this styling to the outer view, right? There you go. So let's set a padding horizontal to this, to the rating. It's going to be 20, right? And also a padding vertical. So with the padding vertical, let's give it a value of 10. There you go. And let's set some margin upon it, 7. There you go. It's looking pretty good. So let's give it a width, right? So I'll specify an empty view over here and style it and provide a width of 5 so that it won't be that much close to it, right? So there you go. So next thing, we need to focus on the drop down menu, right? So that's the next component. So I'll create a file over here and I will be naming it as dropdown.js. So here we need to create our component function. So we export default function, then the name, drop down menu, right? So within that, we'll be returning a view. Within that view, we use a select drop down component over here, which is a self-closing component, and we need to import the view from React Native and also import the select drop down. And that's going to be from the React Native select drop down package. So there we go. So you can now import it over here. So let's import the drop down menu we just created over here so that I can see it. Let's save the changes. There you go. As you can see it over there. So let's give it a style. So we can just start with the button style. So with the button style, let's give it a width, and the width is going to take 94% of the entire device. And let's set the background color. The background color is going to be white, and also give it a border radius as well, which is going to be 10 in this case. There you go. It's looking good. So let's start the outer view. The outer view is you're going to align the select drop down within the middle. So let's set the align self to be center, and also give it a padding vertical. That's from top and down 10. So in here we specify the default text. So default, they use select an option, so we are going to change that. So the prop is default button text, and that's going to be choose job category, as you can see it over there, right? So let's also start the button text style as well. So let's give it a color of gray, and also let's give it a text align to the left, right? And specify a font size over here to be 16. There you go. It's looking pretty good. So we can also render the drop down icon, and that's going to be on the right side. So the prop is render drop down icon, which is basically a function that returns an icon, right? So with the icon, let's give it a type. The type of the icon is going to be from the font awesome. And also let's give the name of the icon, and it's going to be chevron down. So we need to import the icon from React Native elements. There you go. You can see it over there. So let's give some size over here. So let's specify the size to be 16, and also let's change the color to gray. Saving the changes. There you go. It's looking pretty good. So let's focus on the input, right? So below the drop down menu is going to be an input component, and that's going to be from React Native elements. So let's import that. We need to import the input from the React Native elements. So once you have that imported, you can see it over there. So let's style the input. So with the input container style, you can apply stylings to the input. So the input container style, let's set the border color to white, and also set the border radius to 10, and give it a background color. So the background color is going to be white as well. Let's save any changes. There you go. So let's give it a left icon. So in here we render an icon over here, and the name of the icon is going to be the location icon. location, and we want the outline version of the location. The type of the icon is going to be from the icons. And also let's give it a color, and here we set the color to gray, and also a size of 20. So we need to import the icon. So there you go, as you can see over there. So let's also give it a placeholder, which is a hint of what you need to enter, right? So it's going to be location, and let's change the placeholder text color. So with the placeholder text color prop, you can change the color to gray. There you go. Let's proceed with the button as well. So with the button, below the input is going to be a button, right? And this button will be from the React Native element. So we need to have that imported. So it is in the title prop. You can set it to search job. And also let's start the button. So with the button style prop, you can apply styling to the button. So let's set the width to 380. And also give it a padding, and it's going to be 10, right? Give it a background color. That's going to be a hash value. It's going to be hash 529A69, right? There you go. So let's wrap the button within a view, and let's start the view by aligning self to be center, so we can have the button centered. There you go. So let's give a border radius to the button, and it's going to be 5. I think that should be it. So let's come to the last component. That's going to be the job detail component, right? So below this view is going to be another view, and within this view we'll be having an inner view over here, which is going to contain the 2 tests, right? One will be a test of search results, and the other one will be a test of CO. There you go, you can see it flat. So let's start that outer view. So the styling of the outer view, as usual, let's set the margin to 10, background color to white, and also give it a flex of 1 so that it can take the available space. Let's set the border top right radius to 20, the same as border top left radius. We want to curve only the corners at the top, right? So let's give it a margin top as well to be 30. There you go. So let's start the inner view over here. So with the inner view, as usual, let's give it a flex direction of row so that you can have the text on each side, and align items to be at the center, just to center those items. And also let's justify the content to be space between. And also let's give it a margin. So let's start the test as well. So with the styling of the test, so let's start with the color. Let's give it a color of gray, and also let's set the font size to 18. Let's also style the test as well. The color of this green color. And also let's give it some font size as well. There you go. So we are going to focus on the job detail, right? So in here I'll create a file within the component folder. The file name is going to be jobdetail.js. So we create our component. So export default function, then the name of your component, and it's going to be job detail. So in here, initially, let's return a view. So let's start by styling the view. The view is going to have a border width of 1, and also a border color. And the border color is going to be this grayish color. Let's give it a margin of 12. And also let's set some border radius upon it. Give it a border radius of 10. So you need to import the view from React Native. So within this view, we'll be having an inner view, and within that view, first is going to be the image, right? So we need to import the image as well. So you should specify the source of the image, and it's going to be from the asset folder. So we will require that from the assets, and the name of the image is img.jpg. So we can apply some styling over here. So the styling, let's specify a width to be 50 and also a height to be 50. So let's set some border radius on it. So with the border radius, let's give it a value of 7. So you can just bring the job detail over here. So we need to have that imported, right? So I'll import that. So once you have that imported, you can see it reflect over there. All right, let's proceed. So within the job detail component, below the image, we are going to have another view, and this view is going to contain a text of that particular job that's going to be repainting the whole house as the text, right? We need to import the text from React Native, and below that is going to be another view which is going to contain 2 texts. So the reason behind of putting the 2 texts within a view, so that we can apply styling to that view, right? We want the text to be on each side, so we need to place these 2 texts within a view so that we can apply styling by flex direction to row, so that we can have these 2 texts on the side of each other. So there we go. So let's style. So let's set the flex direction to be row, and also let's give it a padding. The padding is going to be 10. So let's start the text as well. Let's give it a padding horizontal. That's going to be from left and right. We don't want it to be close to the image. And also let's give it a font size of 18. Let's also specify a font weight to be bold over here. So let's start this view. So the styling as usual, let's set the flex direction to row so we can have the next text to each other, and also justify content to be spaced around. There you go. Give it a padding, the padding vertical. So below this view is going to be a divider, right? Let's give this divider a width of 1. And we need to import the divider from React Native elements. There you go. So let's give this divider a color. The color is going to be that gray color. So we'll be having another view, and also within that we'll be having an inner view and 2 texts, right? The first one specifying the category of that particular job, and it's going to be painter. So this is how it's going to be look like. So let's start by styling the category by giving it a color of gray, and also let's give it a padding value of 5. So let's start the painter as well. So let's set the background color to this value, and also let's set a padding value over here, padding horizontal of 12, and also a padding vertical so here you can specify the color to be red. So here I'll copy and repeat that 3 more times, changing in the values and also the styling as well. There we go. So let's start the outer view. So let's start with the flex direction of row to be aligned horizontally, and also let's justify content to be spaced around. There we go. Let's set a pattern of 10. let's change the text in here to pay per day, and also let's get rid of the color. So let's change the color of this text. I'm going to take the green color, so a different shade of green, so we specify hex value and the color is going to be green. As you can see, it has the effect over there. So in here, let's wrap the text within the touchable opacity, right? So we need to import the touchable opacity from React Native. So I can get rid of these stylings and apply a new styling. So let's set the color to white, the color of the text to white. So let's start the touchable opacity. So with the styling, let's set the background color to green. There you go. Let's change the value here to apply now. And so let's set a padding horizontal, that's from left and right to 10. Give it a padding vertical from top and down to be 7. A border radius to be 4. There it goes, looking pretty good. So in here, oh, I just made a mistake. The height is not spelled correctly, so let's change that. So, perfect. So again, in here we can just repeat the job detail component 2 more times. You can see the effect over there. So we can wrap this within a scroll view so that I can have it scrollable, right? So we need to import the scroll view from React Native. So once you have that imported, you can see the scroll view is functional. So with the UI, the last component is going to be, so I'll create a file here that's going to be the button tabs. So without wasting my time, I'll just paste in this code explaining what everything is about. So we initially started with an icons array, right? And we contain the icon name, the text, and the color, and create an icon component here, which basically return a touchable opacity, and we return a view, and we loop through the icons, returning the icons and also the properties of these icons, right? So within the app.js, below the scroll view is going to be a divider, and this divider is going to have a width of 1, and also below the divider is going to be the bottom tab we just created. We need to import that. So we need to import the bottom tabs. So we need to import the divider as well from React Native elements. Sorry. So you can see it's over there. So that's pretty much it. Let's move on to Flutter.